This has major implications for the Chicago Bulls. We're going to be talking about a recent injury update around Zach LaVine and how the Chicago Bulls are going to have to make adjustments as they get ready to take on the Brooklyn Nets. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so we are back after coming back from 20 down against the Orlando Magic. This is the first time that the Chicago Bulls have been above 500 since November the 5th, 2022. And so good vibes going on with the Chicago Bulls right now. But let's go ahead and jump into the breaking news around Zach LaVine and his recent injury status. And so let's start with the fact that he has been listed as day-to-day. It looks like he has a AC sprain in his shoulder. And we saw this during the game. If you got a chance to see the game, he was reaching for his shoulder after going to the basket, took a hit or something like that. And you knew something was bothering him. It was reported that he went into halftime and Billy Donovan had asked him about the shoulder. And he had told Billy Donovan that he was going to see, how he felt after the first 5 minutes of play in the third quarter. Billy Donovan said he didn't end up saying anything else to him. And Zach LaVine ended up playing the rest of the game. And in fact, he hit some big free throws at the end of the game. He finished 6 of 8 from there. But they were some critical free throws that we needed down the stretch. And so, Zach LaVine didn't pull himself out of the game. And he is listed as day-to-day. And so, I think that this is going to be a big test for the Chicago Bulls. But before we jump into why, I just want to commend Zach LaVine because I think he's done a terrific job thus far, going back to what he said in Media Day, where he just pretty much reiterated that he is here, he's locked into the Chicago Bulls, and he's ready for whatever role is necessary. And we saw that last night with him because I think he did a fabulous job. Even though he shot 2 of 9 from the field and scored 11 points, he still had 10 rebounds. He still finished with a plus 10 in the box score. And like I said before, he hit some key free throws down the stretch. He missed a couple too, but still, he still played. And that just lets you know that it was all about winning the game. And he deferred, to other players out there who had it going. And that was one of the question marks for Zach LaVine kind of coming into this season. And I think that's probably one of the question marks that's been out there around him is could he be a player that could be in that, fourth spot as far as being the best player on the floor and still being an impact to the game. And so I think that he has shown that in this game. And I think he's shown that in the wins as well. And it's not like he hasn't, given the effort out there, even in the losses. Obviously, we still want to see him cut down on the turnovers. But I think that this was still a great game for Zach LaVine, and I definitely appreciate how he has approached it. And so with that being said, this is going to be, I think, huge for the Chicago Bulls because you see that also too, Jalen Smith is listed as day-to-day. He actually ended up missing the game due to some knee soreness, and it wasn't the twisted ankle, so he's day-to-day going into this next game against the Brooklyn Nets. We already know about Lonzo Ball being out for at least 10 days before they reevaluate him. And so the Chicago Bulls have made it through a little adverse situations in these past couple games coming back from 20 down. But now we have to find out what are they going to do when you do not have one of your main players here. And so that is going to definitely now put a little bit more pressure on Billy Donovan to dig a little bit more into his rotation and figure out a way to get the best lineup out there because you know that these teams are going to try to make adjustments to what we are doing offensively and then also to how we are limited defensively. And so, a couple players come to mind initially when I think about possibly filling in for Zach LaVine if he does miss. And I think it would start with a player like THT. I think that we haven't seen a whole bunch of THT, understandably so, because, we've had some good play from these young players. But THT might be called upon. I think that if we need to go out there We need to get a player to get us a bucket, and we also need a player that could, go out there and play multiple positions on the defensive end. Then THT is absolutely a player that we might see in this upcoming game against the Brooklyn Nets. And so next, I think another player that we could possibly see is Chris Durate. I think that this is another player that could step in and perhaps have to make an impact if Zach LaVine misses. Right now, he actually leads the team in three-point percentage. He's only taken one three-pointer. But anyway, Chris Durate, can knock down some shots. And I think, too, just going back to some of the things that he did in his rookie season with the Pacers, I mean, he's a pretty good defender. And I'm just saying this is a player that maybe Billy Donovan has to go out there and get some minutes for if Zach LaVine is not there. And so with that being said, that leads me to really the final point that I have, and really, just players that are going to have to step up. And I think it starts with, Josh Giddy. I think that Josh Giddy and what he has been able to do has been phenomenal for us. I mean, because right now, collectively, the offense has been humming. I mean, we're third in three-point attempts at 44.2. We're top 7 in three-point makes at 38.8%. And, we're top at just pace of play as well. And so, that really starts with just terrific guard play. I think that Josh Giddy has done a terrific job in really setting the table for players out there. And I love what Ayo Dosunmu has done and Lonzo Ball. I think that all three of those players have done a great job as far as making sure that we are into the best shot possible out there. It's just a matter of continuing to execute. And so, I think that Josh Giddy is going to continue to step up. And I think he unlocks a player like Patrick Williams. I talked about how he's getting it done defensively, but I think it is a possibility that he could help unlock Patrick Williams, because now Patrick Williams, all he has to do is just be a spot-up shooter, and that's something that I think he can do. You saw that he limited the turnovers because he's not putting the basketball on the deck, and he's just able to now just concentrate defensively, knock down those timely three-point shots, which I think are going to just be a huge boost for this team as it continues to get better with this style of play and the players get just really comfortable playing with one another. And also, too, with Josh Giddy, I have to give him credit because we were wondering what was going to happen to Coby White taking this new role, really taking a little bit more off the ball. And I think that, Coby White is actually, he could be on pace to have a better year, even though right now the numbers are pretty similar to last year. But you would have to think that as this offense continues to get better, Coby White's going to continue to see some even better looks. And I think that Coby White, I'm betting on him, he's going to start to knock these down. And I could see his scoring average go up. Right now, I think his assist is down just about an assist from last year. But that's understandable considering that Coby White, or not Coby White, but Josh Giddy has the basketball and he's the lead guard at this point. But still, I love the fact that Coby White has been able to really play off of him. And so, I think that that is really what the Chicago Bulls are going to have to do in the absence of a Zach LaVine if it does happen. And I think that this could be really major for them because they need this type of test. I mean, this is where you really find out about your young players. This is where you find out about this basketball team moving forward, because as excited as we all are right now with what is going on in the season for the Chicago Bulls, and yes, it is just a small sample size, regardless of the success that they have this year, they are going to need moments like they had against the Memphis Grizzlies, and just really in situations like this where players become injured, you want to find out how players are going to respond. And so we need to see this team step up if Zach LaVine is limited, if he's out, and also too if Jalen Smith is out as well. This is a great chance to see what our younger players are going to do. Hopefully we continue to see the effort that we have saw from the Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips. Hopefully we see a little bit more Modest Buzelis. But some of these other players that we have some question marks on, like Sanogo, I'm glad that he played. And also to THT, I want to see him a little bit more. Maybe we do have to resort to going to Chris Durate as well, depending on what is going to go on with some of these injuries. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this recent injury update around Zach LaVine. Do you feel like like, yes, this is going to be a test for this Chicago Bulls team and something that they can really build upon. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And before we jump out of here, I just want to thank everybody out there for liking and subscribing to the videos. It means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest as we try to reach a goal of 5,000 subscribers before the NBA season ends. And I just want to say, continue to mash on that subscribe button. Is about 64.2% of you that watch are not actually subscribed to the channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. And look, even though we could have some injuries that are going to test this team, I'm still believing in it. I think that we are going to really see something in this Chicago Bulls team as we continue to go along this season. I think that this team is, they're right on the right path. I think they're on the right direction as far as building this team out. I think we're not close to the finished product yet because we still have to get some more players in here and make some more adjustments along the way with this playing style, but I'm certainly loving what I'm seeing thus far. And so as I see you guys on the next one, or before I see you on the next one, I'm saying go Bulls, and I'll see you. Peace.